Hi to you, Rochelle, and hi to everybody. Yes, that paper, of course, is USA Today, and its front page, if we look there, you can see, is about Dallas, Texas, and it's saying that there hasn't been as much attention on the city since the time of JFK, 1963, and his assassination. Now, this is all to do with those fears in the States about the possible spread of Ebola, the disease, which is mainly in West Africa, as we know. One of the quotes there on the front page of USA Today is from a Baptist minister saying Dallas is 95% calm, 5% panic. Remember that President Obama in the last few days has stressed very strongly Americans must not fall into any kind of panic at all. The fears are not justifiable. Of course, there's lots of criticism for authorities, for him as well, aren't there, about his whole handling of the crisis.
Well, one publication is focusing on some good news, if you will, concerning the outbreak. Time magazine, tell us more.
Well, this is Time which pointedly, I feel, actually chooses the example of Nigeria, which this Monday is being given the all clear in terms of Ebola. There you can see their headline. What did they get right? Of course, that message is for the Americans, isn't it? What did they get right include things like training doctors ahead of time, knowing that there would be some possible outbreak, actually declaring an emergency immediately, and thirdly, critically, managing this whole question of fear and panic by working on the social media to contact people directly there. I turn to, as well, in terms of West Africa, to the papers in the country, in Nigeria itself, the Nigerian Bulletin. Now there, if we look at the Nigerian Bulletin, it's actually reporting on the open letter to the world by the Liberian president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. There we can see that she has written a moving testimony about her country's plight. More than 2,000 people have died in the country. And she says the time for talking, Rochelle, is over. Action is needed now. And she quotes Henrik Ibsen in a plea for every single country in the world to actually do something. And she says, well, Ibsen says, 1,000 words leave not the same impression as a single deed. So she's very clearly calling for people to get on with it and help Liberia.
It's a real call for mobilisation there. Well, changing tack now, Nick, there's a controversy as Catholic bishops turn their backs on calls for gay equality.
Well, this is a story we've seen over the weekend with the Pope on Sunday giving Mass in Rome to end the synod of 2 weeks. Now, the decision by bishops of the conservative side, dare I say camp, was not to accept and welcome bishops' gays into the Catholic Church in terms of the demand made by Pope Francis to really open the doors to homosexuals. Now, of course, that is making the buzz there in The Guardian with that very striking picture of the bishops turning their backs. And it says that the Vatican now is completely out of step with the changing times. Look at Italy itself, where the latest poll is that most Italians, for example, favour gay marriage. So the Vatican not doing itself any favours in terms of modernisation. Let me go to the Vatican Insider, which is the blog really to go to in the Italian press, in La Stampa, really to find out what's going on. And there it has an interview with a conservative bishop. There he's from Romania, and he's saying, well, there was no manipulation during the 2 weeks. There was an open and frank debate, and we there are not a parliament. We're not looking to be popular. There you can see in that headline there in Italian. Let me go quickly just to Hong Kong, where tension's been seen over the last few days. We've had four or 5 days now of clashes with police. And there's a comment piece in the South China Morning Post saying enough is enough now. Hong Kongers have to stop fighting amongst themselves because Beijing will really go mad. It will express its anger. Of course, that's all to do with the chief executive, C.Y. Leung, who is adhering to Beijing's policy that there should not be a full and free leadership election in 2017. Students don't like that at all. So that whole question of the future of Hong Kong, very much about, in that piece, in that editorial, is actually very much, well, Hong Kong is really struggling with the encroachment of mainland China into their daily lives.
OK, Nick, with a roundup of the international headlines there. Thank you. Well, we'll have more news coming up for you just after the break. Also in focus, we'll be looking at the fallout from the situation in Kobani, reigniting conflicts that Ankara had hoped to put in the past. Do stay tuned.